In 2013, Lotus decided that the US market should have access to a V6 Cup car specifically designated for track use. We've been so blessed to be given the opportunity with one of those examples here. There's only so many that made it to the US market. None of them are road legal, and because of that, most of those cars have ended up in collections, or you see them a lot at Laguna Seca, which I think those guys are having a lot of fun with those. We took the time to remove the belly pan, all of the radiator guards, the oil cooler system, the radiator system. We inspected everything. They are intact, no damage, no dents, no major signs of concern for the next owner. We reaffixed all the hardware for the front grille system and the tow hook to make sure that you had a fresh starting point and easy access to those things in the future. You'll notice that the front diffuser here is not going to be a factory option. This is something one of the previous owners did create. It is affixed appropriately. I put all new hardware into the assembly for that, so you have a much easier time installing and removing that component as well. You could easily install a better option if you find something along the way. Included with this vehicle are going to be two sets of wheels. Primarily, you'll see that we have the secondary factory choice, which is their forged wheel. Now, this option is the lighter of the two that will be included with the vehicle. It does have a brand new set of Bridgestone Potenzas, front and rear. It is a staggered set, which is going to be worth noting. The second set of wheels that we include are a factory-like wheel. The car was ordered originally with this set, and one of the previous owners actually ordered the same style of the original wheel. That set is going to have an older DOT tire, not intended for road or track use. We're shipping the vehicle with those tires so that you have a set to store the vehicle with and not flat spot or put any irregular wear onto your nice summer tires here, and give you a great starting point. In addition to the V6 Cup, a V6 Cup R was also offered. That wing was factory for that vehicle is what we have installed here. This was an additional option for the V6 Cup. This vehicle has been upgraded to the factory Cup GT wing. It is fully carbon fiber, which is it's a beautiful display. It does match that front bonnet, which is awesome. And both wings will be included with the purchase of the vehicle. GT Australia provided a twin tip exhaust system, and it does utilize a vacuum valve, which ironically does have a bit of a rattle to it at very low RPMs. You're going to notice that at times during your ownership of the vehicle. Once you're into the throttle, that rattle goes away completely. I did attempt to quiet the rattle, make some adjustments to the brackets. It's just something inside of that valve itself. But we want you to know because well, we want everything that we do with you guys to be very transparent. The exhaust sounds fantastic, and we do have the factory muffler and exhaust system still that'll come with the vehicle upon purchase. Lifeline is the supplier Lotus went with for their fire suppression system. Now, this is a driver, cockpit, and engine bay system, so it will discharge to all those areas. However, it's the original bottle from 2013, as the vehicle hasn't seen that much track time. So with that, it's important to note that the exterior discharge button is here under this cap. The interior is on the dash, but the system will need to be serviced prior to attempting to utilize it. Also on the exterior of the vehicle is an additional electronic shutoff switch. This operates the remote relay for the battery system in the trunk of the vehicle, and you have the same switch located on the dash. So on track days, you remove both of these covers, and you'll have access to those systems. The road-going version of the Lotus had these very large side view mirrors. To accommodate for the track focus, the previous owner did install a set of carbon fiber GT mirrors. Additionally to the carbon fiber GT mirrors, they had originally installed a carbon fiber top. Now, that carbon fiber top unfortunately doesn't work with the factory roll cage, so it's going to be included with the vehicle. It would need to be trimmed to appropriately fit the cage. So what you'll see is that the factory hardtop actually has provisions trimmed out of both sides to allow for the cage to sit flush, and then it utilizes some factory wrapped in canvas material to lock it to the front of the window frame and to the pillars behind the driver's seat. Now, the Toyota V6 that's in the vehicle is mostly still stock. There is a quite standard in the Exige community, from what I can see, cold runner intake on the driver's side of the vehicle with a fresh filter installed. Otherwise, nothing's been modified under the hood. Now, you'll notice in the trunk area that from what I can tell, there should be a carpet assembly that I have seen the Exige comes with. I'm not sure if this vehicle just wasn't ordered that way or if it was removed at one point, but everything is exposed. You can see the battery, the ECUs, the remote solenoid. I just want to make you aware that that's not a spare part that I have access to. Back here in the trunk, you will be able to see the access for servicing the rear coils and spark systems, and then just under those engine covers is the front half of the motor to get access to that. It's really not that difficult of a motor to maintain and service yourself. It utilizes Toyota parts. We did do the factory oil change utilizing their original components. I purchased those parts from Lotus. You probably could source them from Toyota, but I'd rather you know that I at least went the correct route the first time. Now, we weren't able to actually get access to the 2013 Lotus recommendation for oil. That was going to be Mobil 1's GT Racing Oil. It comes with a gold label, and actually here in the US, I couldn't find a supplier that had access to it. So we went with a Liquimoly 10W60 GT Racing Oil. The community and the forums stand by that as an option. The Lotus dealer offered that to us as an option, so that is what we decided to go with. We wanted something that the next consumer was going to have ready access to, and I'm very happy with that selection. The bodywork on this vehicle only has a few blemishes that I do want to point out to you. We've cataloged them very well in the photographs for the listing, but the couple more major ones I want to point out here in the video. The hatch, regardless of how you adjust it, does make contact here on the far right hand side and here on the inside of the bodywork. The next set of blemishes I wanted to point out to you is going to be just a few cracks in the fiberglass body. We have one here on the passenger side. Right here around the tag lights is some gentle cracking. And on the driver's side, we actually have just a little bit of spider webbing here on the leading end of the quarter panel. Now, great for you, being this is a track toy, is the car does have PPF covering the front bumper in a single piece. It's also going to have it here on the lower part of the front fender section and the side skirts. It's worth noting in person that you can see that the PPF does kind of shift the shade of the paint on the front end, but it really does show very well. On the front bumper, this black section is actually PPF as well. It's just a set of wrap material that they use to accent the front diffuser and the front grills. All of that could be updated and replaced if you prefer it back to the white finish. Amongst the other accessories that Lotus forced into the Cup car configuration is going to be the front half of the factory cage. This is a bolt-in assembly. They brag about how easy it is to remove. I challenge you to show me how easy it is to remove. You are going to have some carbon fiber inserts that are not from the factory, but they do trim and match very similarly to the plastic components that were here. Now, that includes the gauge cluster, the lower surround, you're going to have your dash accessories, and then you'll have the door sills. These are all installed utilizing the same screw systems that they used for the factory pieces. The only difference is going to be that in the carbon, the way we trimmed this to accommodate the roll cage, they had a nice cover here that unfortunately I just couldn't recreate. I'm sure someone with a little bit more talent than I would be able to provide that for you. Now, the harnesses were original from 2013, so they will be included with the car. However, we've actually installed a new set of Schroth racing harnesses. This is for the carbon fiber Hans bucket seats that are included. They're great seats. They do the job perfectly, and they fit the chassis very well. We were talking earlier about that fire bottle system that is due for service. You're going to see that it's been mounted here in the lower part of the floor plan by the factory, and that the vehicle also included air conditioning. Now, the air conditioning does its best, but it's certainly due for standard service, whether that's a recharge, or maybe a little bit deep diver. We'll leave that for you guys. Now, the TFT display that's included is going to be aftermarket, but it integrates beautifully with the Lotus system. Still showcases all the information, the mileage, everything going on with the motor, check engine lights, all of the important display components. The original gauge cluster will be provided with the vehicle, and it gives you access to a lot more information than that original gauge cluster offered. The headliner for the vehicle is in excellent shape. The front pillar cover, however, does have some small issues on the far right-hand bolt assembly. We're hoping to sort those out before the vehicle shifts. Otherwise, I'm very excited for the next owner, and I think the most important thing we can do now is show you guys just how the vehicle drives and take advantage of the opportunity that Orlando Speed World has offered us. Let's take it for a rip.